Hello folks, it's Rich here. How are we doing? This is my last video for 2025. Before I carry on, if anybody wants to keep in touch with me, and a few people very kindly have, Dave, Mark, Matt, Karsten, Lucas, Peter, but then find me on Facebook and send me a message, or on Instagram. I'm the Novice Noisemaker there as well. You're welcome to keep in touch. But this is not like a before, when I was being trolled and my mental health was in a bad place and I was like, I'm giving up YouTube. It's not like that at all. This is different. In fact, mental health and depression and my wonky in between the years is really good right now. My new job I'm amazed. It couldn't be better. I'm delighted. We're moving house soon. Everything's good. It's just, the channel has just come to a sort of a bit of a natural end, hasn't it, really? I started this during lockdown because I started to get back into guitar and wanted to learn a little bit. And then I got a serious case of gas and I was keen to try stuff. And then I thought, well, if I'm trying things, I'll share it with other people from a novice perspective. And that's all it was, really. And here we are, however long later, and I've had 230 guitars, 43 amps, God knows how many pedals. I think I've kind of ticked that box. I'm just bored with it, really. I'm not going through a shitload of guitars this year. I've had about five or six so far, but and I'll tell you why I'm not doing lots, but I won't be doing that this year. I'm happy with the amps I've got, and it's a mixture, really. I'm just bored with doing that, and as you know, if you've been watching me for a while, I've got a very small sphere of guitar types that I like, which is sort of tellies of sorts and strats of sorts and one or two other types, but so I don't have a huge breadth of what I like. So the types I like, I've just tried lots and lots of them. Everything from a Gibson on an LP to a few other LPs, although they're my least favourite types. All the Harley Bentons and all these various ones, loads of I've just tried them all, really, and I'm bored with it. And the sweet spot for me, as you'll know from the last probably couple of years, really is the Chapman guitars. I sold them, all the ones I had, a little while ago, partly because I'd lost my job and let's get a bit of money in, but I don't know, I just wasn't feeling anything, but I missed them, so I've rebooted that. The things with the Chapmans, I like their modern take on classic guitars. I like the specifications that you get. I like the build quality of them, and the playability varies a little bit because some of them got chunkier necks, and it's taken me ages to get used to jumbo frets, especially jumbo stainless steel, which are even bigger, but I kind of have. So yeah, so that's it, really, on that score. And just before I go on to my gear, excuse me, I just want to say, I can't say thank you enough, really. Just such a heartfelt thank you to people who have expressed any interest in me. You know, nearly 3,000 subscribers, and the channel's had 1.3 million views, which is nuts for someone who can't play guitar, who just gets loads of stuff, uses an iPhone, doesn't edit, and away you go. It's humbling, it's flattering, and some of the people I've got to know through YouTube regularly as well, just really, really kind. And like I say, if anyone wants to keep in touch with me, you can find me on Instagram under the Novice Noisemaker, or you might find me on Facebook and message me under my Richard Elliott, which is obviously my name. But yeah, so thank you. Really proper thank you. And like I say, who knows, maybe next year, if I've got anything relevant to say, or I'm interested enough, maybe I'll do a video again, I don't know. But this year, not having loads of gear, happy with what I've got, concentrating on my job and other things, and I'm just done with it. So anyway, should we quickly have a look at the gear to say a little goodbye on the gear? So here is Mina, my trusty Harley Benton SC Deluxe Goto. Sarah Jane bought this for me when we've been dating for 6 months. She contacted Karsten Game Day. Hi Karsten, if you're watching, and to get some help on the guitar for me, and even to this day, it just warms my heart that she went to so much effort and did such an amazing gesture and a costly gesture. The weird thing is, I've never been crazy about LPs, and it's taken me a long time to really gel with this guitar. And actually, one of the things that it's taken a long time to do is I always said this pickup's too muddy, and I wasn't that fussed for this one, but of all the guitars I've now had, whenever I've compared it to this, actually the pickups on this hold their own perfectly. One person's muddy is another person's warm, and actually, this is the smoothest sounding neck pickup I've ever had. Think Slash. It is beautiful sounding, so I've got over that completely now. So it's an ebony fretboard on this one, which is one of the original ones lightish for ebony. It's obviously bound. It's 22 jumbo stainless steel frets. It's got Tusk nut. It's got Goto tuners on there. Goto bridge hardware. It's chambered body. It's nice and light. Oh, my freaking shoulder. High access neck here as well. Coil split here. Tom, hey Tom, if you're watching, Tom, my guitar tech friend, he did some magic on there. So there's very little volume drop now, which is nice. Yeah. So I don't know if they make these still anymore. I think it was 279 about 2.5 years ago. And yeah, like I say, honestly, of all the ones I've had, it's a 10-inch radius fretboard. It just holds its own. It really does. I bought this recently. Do you remember I was disappointed because the one I got had a faulty truss rod and threw my dolly out the pram, because that's what I do. It's going back and I'm not having another one. And then I messaged Rob and he was like, oh, you know, these things happen sometimes. Sorry to hear that. I'm sure Andertons will sort you out and blah, blah, blah. And I thought I'd just like it. It's blingy. So I had another one. I'm glad I did. So you get this. Look at this binding. I mean, I've ever seen such an opulent, ostentatious guitar. It's just outrageous, isn't it? No string trees on this, which is a nice touch, isn't it? Even the signature's in a goldy colour. Rosewood fretboard, Graphtec Tusk nut. Lovely roasted maple on the back. Glow in the dark side dots here. High access neck. It's just obviously semi-hollow. It's a matte finish, which is lovely. A coil split on there, even on the F-hole. Yeah, it's beautiful, this. Nice jack socket as well. The only thing I'm less keen on this are the pickups. They're Wilkinson caliber 7484 or R series. They're really high output, 15k ohms here and 10 here, or nearly, just under. Just a bit, I know it's a rock guitar, it's Chris Robertson's spec, and that's what he wants, but it's not quite right for how I view the guitar. So I bought some Tone Rider Alnico 2s. So when I get an opportunity to go and visit Tom, sorry, let me just plug this, actually. He's going to swap them over for me and also do his thing with the volume drop on the coil split. This arrived today. You may remember, if you've been around for a while, I ordered a black one of these when they're not all that long been out. Just love the look of it and still do. But I was like, oh, I want a purple one. So Sarah ordered the purple one for me so I could compare the two, and I kept the black one. I had a love-hate relationship with it. Quite a chunky neck, the big frets, and I sold it in the end, and I've always regretted it. And I tried to capture that feeling back. I bought a Sunburst one, which had the newer, darker roast neck. And generally I like darker roasts, but it didn't seem to suit that one. Then I bought the gold one when I met Rob at the show. The body of that, stunning. That they know how to do a gold top, they really do. But the neck was really pale, and I'm still having this one was too chunky and don't know. But I love the sound of the pickups and I like the guitar. So on the prowl, I thought I've got to have that purple one after all. They're rare now as well, they're hard to find. I found this one going on in $699 for it. I thought, bloody hell, that's a lot for a used Chapman, because they typically sell for about 40%, 45 tops of their original sale price. But he said it's excellent, and it's arrived and it's basically like new. It's not been touched. So you get a chambered body, gold hardware, Seymour Duncan hot telly pickups, roasted maple neck, and actually this is a perfect colour roast for me. Not very good light in here. It's like medium darkness. It's absolutely spot on. Not pallid, not too dark. Perfect. Perfect. Glow in the dark side dots, the hip shot open gear locking tuners, which are cool. Roller string trees, Graphtec Tusk nut, and the pickups on this are just wonderful. It's the thing I like the most. Roll the volume back a little bit and don't pick too hard, and you've got sort of classic Telecaster-y sounds. Put the volume up, put the distortion on, and you can metal out. They're really versatile. Absolutely love the pickups. I'm delighted I've got that back. I've just had the amp up with that. This came the other day. I've changed saddles, brass saddles. I've got a thing about brass saddles, haven't I? You've got Seymour Duncan Classic stacked Strat here and here, and a custom 59 in the bridge, which is super hot. Little donut inlays, nice to have some inlays. Ebony fretboard, which I've oiled. Look how dark that is. It's come up lovely, isn't it? Nice roast on the back. The hip shot open gear locking tuners. Roller string trees. Lots of nice curves. As with all Chapman's, recessed pockets, which are nice. Full size block. Wilkinson 2-point trem with a push-in arm. Unbelievably, I changed these saddles myself, including the grub screws, because the original ones are a bit long. The bridge just falls off completely, so it's held on with the tension of the springs and the strings. I had to fiddle around with that, and somehow I've managed to get a low action without any buzz all by myself. Woohoo! Intonation's probably off, but hey, I'm off, so that doesn't matter. Quite a flat fretboard on this. It's a weighty old beast. But that is my Strat, if you like. So there are a few other Chapmans that I want, a couple that I've had before and I've let go stupidly. So they will be on the list and I'll get those back at some point. So that is just kind of it. Hence me, I'm not buying other guitars. Chapmans are what I like, and now I've got a Strat, a Telly, a Super Telly. I've got my Les Paul with Mina. I am bidding on an ML2 Gold Top, the original one with the lovely gold and the Seymour Duncan pickups. Grover tuners, 24 frets, ebony fretboard. I've been looking at those for donkeys. There are a few of them around now and again. So yeah, anyway, let's move on, quick. Lexato WS80. This is my wireless system. They're about £35, or they were when I bought this 18 months ago. They take a couple of hours to charge. They last about 8 hours. No latency. Absolutely brilliant. It's a no-brainer. Oh, let's put that in there. Charge that up. Hold on. So he's still there. I don't know why I didn't go wireless years ago. Mark Greeny, hi Mark, if you're watching. He's recently bought some. He asked me about them and he's loving them too. So, amp. I've had loads of Black Stars. This is an ID Core 100. I had one not that long ago, dismissed it out of hand. And I think that was because at the time I'd got a Catalyst 100 or a Catalyst 60, can't remember, and they're quite bassy and boomy. I'm not saying this doesn't have bass on it, but not as much as that. And I think I just thought it sounded tinny, but it doesn't. I really like it. It's nice and simple to use on the top panel. You've got lots of choice on there and presets, so you don't have to plug it into a computer, which is great for me. And some of the demos on this, there's one guy who's from Black Star. He said, do you think you need a Strymon for all that money? Check this out. And he does a bit of fiddly widdly and it's like space, because there are 2 speakers in there. It's extra wide sound. Comes with a foot switch, which has got a looper built in, which is great. And there's an effects loop in this one. So you best of all worlds with it. You can also get a 4-button foot switch for it. So yeah, delighted with that. Didn't pay a lot for it either. £130, sitting about £350 new, and there's not a mark on it. So that was good. I've still got my Harley Benton Tube 15 amp, which I won't sell this time. I've had about 3 of them now. It's great for what it does, and it's nice to have the option of just a tube amp. In a way, I actually prefer that amp just on, apart from delay, because I like delay, but just using the knobs and not even any pedals, just the sound of the amp. So I'm keeping that. I've got my little Marshall 15 watt that Sarah very kindly bought me before I moved in with her. So when I came over, if I wanted to have a little tinker on the guitar, I could. Bless her. Right, let's have some dodgy camera work and go down to the pedal board here. Dunlop Crybaby Wah, which I've had for a long time, that my brother very kindly bought me. Got into a Behringer EQ pedal. I can't remember who recommended I get one of those a little while back. So glad I did. I use it really as a boost mainly, or occasionally with guitar. Mina's neck pickup, by the way, is so creamy and smooth. You know, I used to think it was muddy and dark, and one of the reasons I didn't like the guitar, but she is like proper Slash sounding. I was EQing her up a little bit, and what am I doing this for? There is not a smoother neck pickup on any guitar I've had. But anyway, EQ. Then the Behringer Centaur, which is the clone, and that's a wonderful pedal. It's a proper nice, crunchy, bitey tone, and the knobs are really sensitive. You know, the output, the treble gain, you don't have to move them all that much and you get really different tones. I love that. Always loved one of these vintage tube from Behringer. So cheap, great sound. When you put these two together, oh boy, you really get some grunt. TC Electronic Fangs, which is my latest attempt at a distortion pedal. I just don't like the sound of distortion pedals, really. So what I might do instead is fix myself a good distortion sound in the amp and save it and use that. I don't know, but that's what I've got. Then down here, chorus pedal, don't use that very often, that's the Behringer, but that sounds lovely when I do. The delay, which is on nearly all the time. Oops, sorry. I'm a delay guy. Reverb occasionally, that's digital one with various different reverbs, plate, hall, spring, room, different ones. This is my tuner. I appreciate that's totally in the wrong place. I haven't got space up here. I need to have a bit of a rejig. This should be back here. So that's not ideal, but anyway, it's a little Harley Benton one, it's about 20 quid. And then my Lexato Looper, which is about £50. It's got its own separate volume, and because it's going through the effects loop as well, whatever you put through there isn't affected by the sound in the amp if you turn it up or put your other pedals on. So that's really good. So, there we are. I'm happy with my gear. I'm going to add a couple of Chapmans to it. I'm not buying a load of other stuff. Got nothing more to add to the guitar world, so... If you're still here 15 minutes later, yeah, I'll just say one more time, mega, super grateful. Thank you to everyone. If you want to keep in touch, like I say, by all means do. And yeah, maybe catch you sometime next year. So have a really positive rest of 2025. I'm a firm believer that 90% of life is what you make it, 10% is what you're given. So if you're having a hard time in life, try not to dwell on it and do something about it. If you're having a great time in life, continue to have a great time with life. And yeah, TTFN.